Let's bring in our panel of SiriusXM host REECIE Colbert, Republican strategist Matt Klink. REECIE, you want to go first on the Pelosi legacy, Trump reaction, and the significance of the day for kind of the passing of the torch, or whatever you want to put it, for Democrats?
I'd love to. First of all, Nancy Pelosi's reputation and her accomplishments are unimpeachable, unlike the twice impeached president that occupies the White House right now. And so he should not be talking about anybody's character when he clearly has none. She is a historic person. She's the first woman Speaker of the House, the highest ranking woman in terms of, well, yeah, Vice President Kamala Harris, but in terms of the House and the Senate, she has passed extraordinary legislation that was not by any means inevitable. We had the Affordable Care Act, we had the Dodd-Frank Act on the heels of the financial collapse that happened under George Bush's watch, and we had record investment in infrastructure, clean energy. She is progressive and she's pragmatic,
right.
And so it will be a great loss, but she put a pipeline in motion years ago when she stepped down as Speaker, and so Democrats will be just fine.
I feel like I'm quoting Marjorie Taylor Greene maybe a little too much, but Matt, that said, it was interesting earlier, like she had a quote, something to the effect that, the reason I'll ask you this, I wonder if you agree, is that, you know, she was effective, obviously doesn't, you know, maybe even like her personally or agree with her, but would you acknowledge that part, the effectiveness of her as a politician?
Connell, I'm not going to say anything bad about Speaker Pelosi. I think that she is a role model for future speakers of both parties and both sexes to model for her raw political power. I mean, Sam Rayburn has nothing on Nancy Pelosi. So, I mean, she was very effective. I think that the tell for me that she wasn't going to run was when she went on a local CNN show out here and she called Donald Trump a vile creature. I was like, okay, she's definitely going to retire, because she was tough as nails. But she was always politically savvy, and she always seemed to say the right thing. And I'm like, she just has had it. She's had it enough. She's done her time.
You know, let's talk about the party's bigger picture after Tuesday. I'll use the speaker again, Mike Johnson, to set this up on, you know, everybody's trying to say, well, you know, is Mamdani the leader of the party on the Democratic side? Is he the face? Is it someone else? Here's Mike Johnson from earlier.
The Democrats, and you all are not writing about this, and you should be, not writing enough about it. The Democrats have now set themselves on a collision course in their own tent. If you look at Spanberger in Virginia and Sherrill in New Jersey, they tried to run as moderate pragmatists. That's how they self-described. But they will be no match for the coming communist wave taking over their party right now. The energy is on the side of the Marxists.
There you go. So now no secret about what the messaging will be, REECIE. How does that set us up for the next year in Washington?
Listen, we had a blue wave, a blue tsunami on Tuesday, and it was across ideological lines. The common thread between those candidates was the issue of affordability, which Donald Trump has exploded cost. We have had 1 million job losses under his watch, and there is no end in sight. The thing with Mike Johnson is you cannot gaslight the country on what they're experiencing. And so right now, Democrats are not in the mood to play litmus test, purity politics. They're in the mood for change, and that's why you had historic wins from Abigail Spanberger, Mickey Sherrill, and Zeron all in one evening.
You know what's interesting to me, Matt? I've spent the whole night, I was on our big board, so I was looking at all data and counties and everything else. And the one thing I could see, I'd be curious to see how you see it, is that, you know, for all the popularity and attention that Mamdani's getting, he only, you know, at first they said, will he get 50%? So it was a headline, oh, he got 50%, but he only got 50% in a heavily Democratic city, whereas to me, Virginia, but also New Jersey, which is supposed to be a really close race, you know, a relatively moderate Democrat, Mickey Sherrill wins, and wins in places that had been kind of trending towards Trump in the last election. Seems to me Republicans want to be careful about that. Fair?
100%, Connell. That voters are snarky right now. They're going to look at their own personal economic situation, and even though Donald Trump has been there for 9 months, they're going to say, wait, it's not better. And I got to tell you, you know, they threw out the Democrats on their, you know what, come November. If Donald Trump doesn't turn it around in 26, the Republicans are going to get a rude comeuppance too. Voters are they are not happy right now, and they're taking it out on whoever is in power.
Every election's a change election. I heard someone say that, and it's true. I mean, at least the last however many, like every time, it's like, all right, get them out, and you know, you got to be careful because you could be next if you're the one that wins this one. So that's, I guess, the lesson for Democrats. On Matt, let me stay with you for a moment. I haven't talked about this much on the show yet, but it's been getting a lot of attention. This whole back and forth on the Nick Fuentes thing. How should Republicans handle this? New York Times article saying that his rise puts the MAGA movement in a, quote, time of choosing with Charlie Kirk gone. Intolerance, similar to Mr. Fuentes, has already emerged a turning point. At one of the group's conferences last week at the University of Mississippi, young men confronted Mr. Vance, the vice president, questioning his support for Israel and for Jews who openly support the persecution of Christians. So what would you say about this? I mean, you know, there's Tucker Carlson interview, and this idea that this guy said some hateful things is being embraced. Should he be by some in the movement or condemned?
Well, a couple things. One, Nick Fuentes is a fringe in the movement, just like the Democrats have fringe. Shocker, the Republicans have fringe too. He unfortunately is part of a sabotaging fringe. The Republicans do not stand for anti-Semitism, and I'll look no further than the president who stood up and applauded Israel. Unfortunately, you get people like Tucker Carlson who platform someone like Nick Fuentes. And look, I think he's been resoundingly rejected by the overwhelming majority of the Republican Party. He has a small niche following, primarily of young white men, but it is a select sliver of those young white men. And I think the more Republicans that stand up and say, this guy does not represent our party, he does not represent MAGA, he does not represent Donald Trump, the better everybody will be.
Okay, fair enough. Now, last thing for you, REECIE, is this. A lot of people used to say years ago Steve Bannon was fringe. Maybe some people still think so, but he's worked in the White House and certainly has a good sense, I think it's fair to say, of the politics on many issues, not all, but on many issues. And he told Politico that there's a parallel that he sees in the strategy between Mamdani here in New York and Trump. The managed decline of our country by the elites is the basic undertone of this kind of political revolution in the country has been. Bannon says not that he's the same type, has the same type of qualities as Trump, but it's anti-establishment. And I think what he showed people, he's a fighter. And so, you know, game on, game respects game. So he's talking about Republicans being, being careful. Is this another thing to watch here, REECIE, or do you disagree with Mr. Bannon?
Well, I think that Steve Bannon has pulled the biggest con on the American people by convincing people that Donald Trump is a populist when he is in the pockets of billionaires and he has his hands in the cookie jar every chance that he can get. Zohran Mamdani is actually truly about affordability and talking to the needs of working class people. That's the difference between Mamdani and Donald Trump. And so to the extent that Bannon sees that American people want affordability and Zohran tapped into that message, that's the only thing I'll give him credit for being correct.
Last word on this, Matt. I think, I was thinking back to the comparisons people used to make between Bernie Sanders and Trump. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, well, I will leave it aside. Look, Zohran Mamdani, he captured lightning in a bottle, but the truth will be in how campaign Mamdani equals governing Mamdani, because all of his free stuff, there ain't no free lunch, and that's a basic economic principle that you can't get around. Yeah. So we'll see what the future holds for him. I wish New York well.
I got to take the crosstown bus. I was hoping not. You're saying I'm going to have to pay for that. That's unfortunate. I thought that would all be free for now. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, REECIE.